Welcome back to CVM at Sunrise. Jamaica's first licensed credit bureau, Creditinfo Jamaica, has completed a full year of operations here in the island, and they have so far achieved quite a lot. But how does the Jamaican sector match up internationally, and what is the next step with an organization such as this? This morning we've got CEO of Creditinfo Jamaica, Deane, as well as Hakon Stefansson. And I know I got that right, CEO of Creditinfo Iceland, to answer these questions. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much.
I got it right.
Yeah, you perfectly.
Oh, my God. So, anywhom, I'm going to start with the lady first.
Yes.
Megan, tell us, what is Creditinfo Jamaica, and why does it matter to Jamaica at this time?
Well, having a formal credit reporting environment is something that is internationally recognized as being a critical component of a country's financial infrastructure. So, congruent with everything that is happening in Jamaica in terms of moving towards our 2030 vision, we had a formal legislation passed, and that legislation required that credit bureaus apply for a license and be formally supervised by the central bank. So we put a group together with a local partner and Creditinfo International, and we applied for the license, and we got the first license, and we went live with credit reporting last year, July.
That's excellent. Hakon, how does Iceland feature into the Jamaican picture as it relates to Creditinfo as an organization?
The company Creditinfo Group actually started its operation back in Iceland almost 20 years ago, and started then its expansions worldwide, so to say, in 2002. And we are currently operating in 15 countries, and started here in 2011, actually. And what we do is actually supporting our new companies in the first 2 or 3 years. We're providing them a lot of support, and we have had me or my colleagues, they have been here on and off for the last 3 years, trying to actually
walk us through this establishment.
Because it's never easy.
I was about to say, that sounds really complex and difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is difficult, but I would say though here in Jamaica it's partly more easy than in what we have experienced in other countries, but at the same time it's more challenging, because when I first came here 3 years ago, what I recognized was that the banks and also the general public, they were more aware about, how important it was to have a good credit and credit history. This is not very common in markets which have no operation like this. However, what I have also noticed is that, and that's maybe the negative part of it, is that even though, the Jamaicans, they are so friendly and it's so nice to talk to them, is that even though you decide something, it's not, you can't be sure that it will happen actually tomorrow or the day after.
I see.
And that's not, if I compare that, for example, to East Europe, is that actually if you decide something, you start to work on it and you get on it immediately. So that's maybe
the little hangnail there.
But it's a complicated issue also. It's not easy, like for the big lenders, to start cooperating. We are talking about a very complicated project, even though maybe for when it's live, then you don't actually understand why it's just so complicated. It's a very simple report.
So simple. Well, I'm familiar with having a credit history and the impact it can have on your life, Megan, through people who live in the US and UK. How will this work itself out for Jamaica now, with Jamaicans not wanting anybody in their business, especially their financial business? How will this work?
Well, the good thing about Jamaica, as Hakon said, is that because we're close to the US, persons were already exposed to the concept of credit reporting.
Right.
So that was a good thing. And persons understand the importance of having good credit. It's almost like having money in the bank. We understand certainly the privacy concerns of the consumers, and our legislation is extremely protective. So although we are authorized to collect credit information, no one can pull your credit report without your consent.
You're authorized, but without my consent? So you can just go forth and seek me out? Or
no,
I
you
have
can't.
to consent
you have
with
to give consent
to the
for
organization?
any institution to pull your credit report.
No, not to pull it, you know, the gathering of the information.
The gathering of the information is authorized by the legislation.
By the legislation, so it's now legal and law, so that you can go out as Creditinfo Jamaica just to solicit credit information. But however, if you go to a loan agency, financial institution, you have to have some authorization in order to pull this report.
Yes.
All right, as we forge forward, what are some of the short-term objectives in the first year for Jamaica?
Well, certainly to get as many of the institutions reporting actively as possible. So having started a year ago, we are pleased that we have some 600,000 records in our credit bureau solution, and we're having a very high hit rate of currently 70%, which is excellent. I mean, when the World Bank came and spoke with us last week, they were shocked. They thought that we would be somewhere between 40 and 50. So it certainly shows that we have the information base, and persons are also capable of managing their own credit by accessing their free credit report to which they're entitled under the legislation. So now if you wanted to come to us with 2 pieces of government issued ID, you would be able to see what information is currently existing in the Bureau.
All right, we have to wrap it there, but for persons who want more information on the local arm, Creditinfo Jamaica, how do they get that?
Well, we have a website, Creditinfo Jamaica spelled out.com, and of course we are in the telephone book directory and social media. And
are these credit reports accessible by global entities, or is it just national?
No, just national.
Just national. Hakon, as our visitor, I'm going to give you the final word short. What would be the advice to us as we go forward in this process? You've been in this thing for 20 years.
Yeah, my advice, it's actually with regards to the lenders, I would say, you know, do it more easy for the consumers to apply for a loan. Don't send them to other financial institutions to get, you know, a reference letter.
Yes.
Because I would never do that. I would never send, you know, my potential customer to my competitors, and it's also time consuming. Yes. So that would be my advice, and also because in the end it will lower the interest rate. So instead of paying like 25% interest rates, it might go down to 17 or 18, but we don't know how it will develop. But it depends on how the lenders will be active when it comes to using the service, because the more active they will become, the lower interest rate will the general public
Wow, this sounds fantastic. Megan, Deane, Hakon Stefansson, thank you very much. Creditinfo Jamaica and Creditinfo Iceland were my guests at this time. Up next, going to get the details on the Ligani Art Festival happening soon. Stick around for that. I am wearing an Andy Golding piece. But up next, we've got the news. Stay tuned. More on CAS.